Boris Johnson will be blocked from seeking a short extension to the post-Brexit transition period to give both sides more time to negotiate a trade deal despite talks being hindered by the coronavirus crisis, Express can reveal. Britain will remain under the European Union's rules and inside its single market and customs union until the end of the year. Mr. Johnson's EU withdrawal agreement allows for a one-off extension, of 1 or 2 years, if both sides reach an agreement by June 30. EU diplomats and officials expect the Prime Minister to ask for a delay, but Downing Street has remained resolute in its bid to complete Brexit by December 31. However, Brussels sources have ruled out renegotiating the terms of the transition period to allow for a flextension that would allow for just an extra few weeks. They warned such an arrangement would require a new treaty, roughly the same length as the 590-page divorce deal, to cement the UK's legal. It's not theoretically impossible, but you need a legal basis, and in the absence of the withdrawal agreement you will need a vehicle which requires a new treaty, and that's a landmine, an EU source told Express. Cash-stricken member states suffering from the economic consequences of coronavirus will be able to use new negotiations to extort fresh cash out of the UK as the price for any delay. This could even see Britain losing out on its historic rebate, sending potential contributions to the EU's budget to around £20 billion a year, according to the source. Up to 30 national and regional parliaments, many of them currently shut down as a result of the global pandemic, would have to consent to the new agreement before it could enter into force. One EU official said, "You need this ratified, so it is not something you can do at the last minute." But they also warned that Mr. Johnson will not simply be able to request an extension. The source added, "The deadline is a really tricky subject, you just can't get around it like that." Mr. Johnson's negotiating team have attempted to plough on despite their work being restricted by the coronavirus outbreak. David Frost, the Prime Minister's lead negotiator, reopened negotiations with Michel Barnier's deputy, Clara Martinez-Alberola, this week. He will hold more high-level talks with the EU's chief negotiator on Wednesday in the hope of establishing a timetable for future negotiations. A European Commission spokesman said, Michel Barnier will speak with David Frost next week to agree a calendar for the next steps in order to move the negotiations forward, taking into account the coronavirus outbreak. To date, both sides have failed to agree on an exact format for holding the trade talks remotely in the midst of the global pandemic. The Commission has been reluctant to use freely available video conferencing software